Hey guys, welcome back to A Little Less Lisa. If you're new here, my name is Lisa and I am currently on a health, wellness, fitness journey. I just finished losing a little over 50 pounds and I did that through diet, exercise, and the help of a GLP-1 medication. And I'll talk a little bit about that more as we move into the body of the video. This video is my weekly check-in. We are going to talk about how week 31 went. So if you're interested in hearing everything that happened, where I am in my maintenance journey, then stick around. I have my handy dandy water here because I am focusing more on my water. Let's recap a little about discussions from last week. So last week I mentioned that I was struggling with the whole concept of not really wanting to have to track anymore, to, let my body be a guide, and also just really trying not to be super fixated on the numbers, whether that be calories or not really macros, because I never really fixated on macros except for protein. And I will tell you that I completely failed in that this week. So I had lots of great suggestions from a lot of you, ranging from just tracking your protein, which is something that I had kind of sort of hinted about, and tracking my water. And then a lot of people with great suggestions of doing a better job of prepping and planning and maybe meal planning, etc. So I definitely wasn't really able to implement any of that during this past week, and we'll talk kind of a little bit about why. But I definitely think that those are fantastic suggestions. And I do know a lot of the things, at least that I used to eat, what those protein values were, right? So when I ate eggs, I knew that those were 6 grams of protein. I knew that when I had a container of Truvani yogurt, it was 15 grams of protein. I knew what my protein coffee was. I know what my Fairlife shake things are, and my Seek protein, which I have started drinking again. So I knew those things. The problem was that I wasn't eating many of those things anymore because, frankly, I don't know if my taste buds changed over the last month, 2 months maybe, but every time I would eat one of those Chobani yogurts, it just was not hitting the same. And the Fairlife things were fine. I just honestly had forgotten I even had those because, like I said, they were in the pantry and not in the refrigerator, and I just kind of forgot. But the Seek, like I said, was kind of, it is very sweet to begin with, and I do add more water than what it says, but even so, it was just kind of making me nauseous, and I had really sort of gotten past the egg phase for a long time. I was, making 8 to 10 hard-boiled eggs and cutting those up and making egg salad out of it and having egg salad almost every day for lunch. And I think I just kind of got sick of that stuff. So the things that were sort of my go-tos while in my weight loss phase, either I stopped enjoying or I just kind of got out of the habit. So I need to put some of those things back into place. And like I said, if I go back to eating some of those things, then, I'm very aware of what those protein grams are, and obviously easy to keep track of. But I do think that I need to do a better job of meal planning, and maybe not so much meal planning from a dinner point of view, because we do a meal box service, one of those Home Chef, or anyway, we're doing one called Dinnerly, which we hadn't ever done before. We've done oh gosh, I can't even remember the names now. Every Plate and whatever the big sister to Every Plate is it not HelloFresh? Maybe HelloFresh? I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Yeah, I think HelloFresh. Anyway. And we got really, really tired of Every Plate. We did that for probably a year and a half, and it's super heavy on the potatoes. It's literally every single meal has a potato as the side, and it's definitely a more budget-friendly one, and that's probably why they use potatoes. So I had discovered this other one, Dinnerly. It's definitely more expensive, but the food's been pretty good. I mean, I have to say there have been very few meals that we've tried that, I usually have everybody do a thumbs up or a thumbs down when we're eating one of those meals to kind of give me a gauge, like, oh, should we order this again? Or is this like it was like fine, but not a repeat, that kind of thing. And also to whether I save the recipe card to make it even after and not have to rely on getting it from them. But my point is, we get those. I don't necessarily get them every week, but usually sort of every other week. So at least at those weeks, I know, we've got those 3 meals. And so I pretty much know what we're going to eat. But other than that, a lot of times sometimes can be kind of hit or miss whether I cook something. But so I think I need to do a little bit of a better job planning on dinners. And that would just help our family in general. Forget the whole counting macros and protein and things like that. It just would be helpful because that whole what are we having for dinner? And it's like, I don't know, let me think about it. Leave a comment below if that's you. I used to be so good about meal planning. We used to have what we called family huddle, which my oldest daughter named, and every Sunday we would get together and we would go over the schedule for that week, because at that time my oldest daughter was working and both boys were heavily involved in sports, and so it was always a time where we could sit down and Morgan, our oldest daughter, could say, I'm working on this day, and this day, and so I would kind of plan meals around that, and okay, this boy has baseball this day, and the other boy has baseball and soccer this day, and trying to get a handle on it. And then we would choose, I think, 3 or 4 meals. I can't remember what it was. And I would give them choices and they would vote. And then whatever, I think I would give them 5 choices, and then the 3 highest votes are what I would make that week. And then we would move them and we wouldn't repeat them for a while. Anyway, it was great. I don't know where I got that idea, but it was awesome. But since our family life has sort of slowed down from the standpoint of, kids doing extracurricular activities, and at this point the twins aren't working yet, so it's not like they have work schedules to keep track of, and Nick is the only one who plays a sport, and he's only playing high school baseball now, so that doesn't really get up until spring, so we're not having to do that. But maybe I should re-implement at least the meal planning part of that. That would be good. So note to self, I'm going to bring back family huddle, at least from a meal planning perspective. But the other part, and really is probably where I honestly struggle the most, because in general for dinner, I always get some kind of protein, even if it's just me sticking, 5 of the bare nuggets from Costco or whatever in the air fryer, and, getting 20 grams of protein that way. I always pretty much get some form of protein at dinner. Where I really miss the extra protein is during the day. And some of that comes from the fact that I just don't end up eating a lot during the day. So I've never been a really big breakfast person. And so, the whole concept of, well, if you get 30 grams of protein at every meal, then you'll have 90 grams of protein, and that's great. And, if you have a couple of snacks, then maybe you'll get up to, 100, 110, something like that. The problem is, like I said, I don't eat breakfast. 1, because I just don't really like it. And 2, because honestly, I just don't get up early enough to eat breakfast. I'll be very honest with you. I kind of don't roll out of bed until 8:30 or so, and I generally don't get ready right away. I will basically go sit at my desk and start work on some things, and then maybe if I've got, a 30-minute break in between meetings, if I've got meetings in the morning, then I'll go hop in the shower and get ready, or, then I will go work out, let's say, downstairs at our building gym. And that'll take an hour, and then I'll come back and get dressed and whatever. And I always do have my protein coffee, but sometimes I don't end up having my protein coffee until, let's say, maybe 10:30 or 11. Well, then by the time that I finish drinking it, it could be, 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then it's like, well, do I eat lunch then? And do I just have a snack? It puts me in a very, I guess, precarious situation on where and when my food is coming from. And so, like I said, I think if I do a better job of pre-planning what I'm going to eat and more during the day part, I think that will really help. And I think, maybe I need to meal prep a little bit, right? Like actually make some lunches ahead of time. So take that time on Sunday and meal prep some things, whether it's some kind of maybe egg casserole, or I used to really be big into taco salads. But again, I just kind of got sick of some of that stuff, but maybe I should bring some of those things back again. So I'm going to try that, because I definitely failed really focusing on my protein, although, like I said, I did do a lot better on my water this past week. So let's talk about why this whole sort of last half of the week was just a big old fail. My mom was here for some plastic surgery. She ended up having complications. We ended up staying down in New Jersey, which is where she was having it longer. I basically was, sitting at the hospital with her for hours upon hours on end, pretty much eating sun chips out of the vending machine and some other chips that we had bought the day before. And just aside from my protein coffee, which I did have each day that we were there, it was horrible. I mean, so basically Thursday, Friday, and Saturday were just a complete, I'm going to say it, shit show as far as my eating was concerned. I did have part of a Chick-fil-A sandwich one night for dinner, so I got some protein there, but during the rest of the day, absolutely none. On Saturday, I had part of a Taco Bell Power Bowl with steak in it, so I did get some protein there because there are beans in that, plus the steak. I ate maybe like a quarter of it, maybe a third. So I got some protein there. But like I said, it was pretty much crap for those 3 days. So I completely failed in focusing on my protein and tracking it. And, I'm not going to blame my mom, certainly, but, best laid plans definitely went off the rail. So yeah, that wasn't great. And then it also threw off my weighing schedule, because I normally weigh on Fridays, but I wasn't home on Friday. And then obviously I wasn't even home on Saturday to weigh. So I finally weighed myself this morning, which is Sunday when I'm filming this. So let's get into that result. And then I will also talk to you about the huge mistake that I almost made, and a real warning for those of you on compounded medication. So I'm not gonna lie, when I got on the scale this morning, I was expecting to see a pretty decent upward tick on the scale. And actually I was down just a tiny bit. I'm still in my maintenance range, which is great, but like I said, with the crap and especially the sodium that I've had over the past 3 days, which is probably more sodium than I have had in the last 3 months, given, like I said, the crap that I was eating. I was, like I said, just shocked. I mean, I literally got on the scale so gingerly. Do you guys ever do that? You think that that's gonna like help, right? Like if you sort of like step onto it, you sort of feel like maybe if you step on it lightly, that it's somehow going to affect the outcome, but which is obviously completely wrong. But anyway, let me know in the comments if any of you do that too. So anyway, but yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised, because like I said, with what I ate, and just like I said, the sodium amount just in general would not have surprised me. So glad at least I was drinking a lot of water, because maybe that helped kind of flush things out a little bit. And I also was extremely constipated while I was gone. So I had been I'd taken a couple days of Mag 07 and I did some fiber gummies and I did a dose of Miralax. So I did finally go today, so that was good, but it was also a little uncomfortable for the last part of the week. So yeah, all in all, I would say it was, yeah, pretty much a crappy week for eating. Thankfully, at least at the moment, it doesn't seem to be really reflecting it on the scale, but somebody told me on one of my other videos in the comments that it takes 2 weeks for, like, if you overeat in calories, which I don't necessarily think that I overate in calories. It was just a lot of crap and no nutritional value. Anyway, so take that for whatever it's worth. But exercise-wise, again, not great. I did one workout in my Sesh app, and then I was supposed to go to Pilates, but I had, unfortunately, to cancel that class because I ended up having a meeting get scheduled during that time. So I didn't get a Pilates class in. Anyway, all that to say, it was not a great week from eating standpoint. It was not a great week from a workout standpoint, but you're going to have those weeks, guys, right? I mean, whether you're on vacation or, just things aren't planned well, whatever the case is, there are going to be weeks where you are not like on it, right? And honestly, I don't want to feel like I have to be on it every single day, every single minute, right? That was sort of my whole point of, I don't want to have to really be tracking anymore. I just want to eat intuitively and weigh myself, maybe once a week, maybe even only once a month after a while, and just kind of rely on my clothes and just try to feel like a normal person for whatever definition you have of that is. So yeah, like I said, I was shocked by the scale, but I guess things are okay. So let's talk about what's on the thumbnail, which is warning, danger, Will Robinson. And this could have been really serious. Here's what happened. The refill that I got most recently through Friday's Health is from a different pharmacy than I normally get my prescriptions, because we're in this whole weird, FDA compounded tirzepatide, cease and desist letters, off the shortage list, on the shortage list, all of those things. They've had some changes in pharmacies, right? Because a lot of the pharmacies have now said, okay, we're done here. We're stepping out of this arena. We don't want to get sued by Eli Lilly and all of those things. So they've had to pivot and use some different pharmacies. So this file came, and even though I still have backstock from Hallandale, which is where most of my prescriptions have come from, this pharmacy, the bud date is very soon. Like it's literally like a month from now. So I needed to break. That was, this week was going to be my first dose out of that vial. And I didn't honestly even look at what it said. I just, I've had a couple of other pharmacies. When I was with that other telehealth company, I was getting it from one pharmacy, and then they ended up actually like buying a pharmacy. So then they owned it. So then it was coming from that pharmacy. But every single pharmacy, including Hallandale, that I've ever gotten my medication from, my units have always corresponded with the dosage I'm on. So if I was on 2.5, I would, withdraw 25 units of medicine out of the vial. When I was on 5, I would withdraw 50 units out of the vial. So I don't even pay attention, you guys. And this is where I really, really want you to listen to me. And please heed my warning and read your vials and read your instructions for every vial. I don't care if you're getting it from the same pharmacy. You should still do this every single time. So I'm withdrawing my medicine, and I'm, withdrawing 5 milligrams because that's what I'm on. And I'm, drawing it up to 50 units. And this, by the way, this was a teeny tiny little vial. I've never seen a vial this small. And it was also a brown color. I mean, you could see through it. It was translucent, but it was brown, not clear. Anyway, and so I'm withdrawing it, and I'm watching the medicine level go down, right? Because you can see that liquid line level, as it goes down as you're withdrawing it. And I looked at it, and I thought, gosh, that doesn't look like there are 3 doses left after I had withdrawn 50 units from the vial. And I still had the needle in the vial. I hadn't withdrawn it yet from puncturing it and withdrawing the liquid. And I had the box, it came actually like in a prescription bottle, like if you went to just the pharmacy and were picking up some, amoxicillin or something, it comes in, with the tamper-proof top and, or the child-proof top and whatever, anyway. And so I looked on there because that had, the prescription and the dosage or whatever, and it said 5 milligrams and whatever. And then I looked at the directions, and the directions said withdraw 21 units. You guys, I had withdrawn 50 units. That would have been more than double. That would have been like the equivalent of like 11 or so milligrams, 11 milligrams instead of 5. Thank God I paused. And like I said, I was aware that after I withdrew that 50, that it just didn't look like only a fourth was gone. It's because it wasn't. It's because I withdrew more than double the amount of medicine that I was supposed to. So, crisis averted. I did not inject that, thank God. I probably would have been sicker than a dog, having never had a dose that high. Not to mention the fact that, like I said, it would have been even more than double of what my body is used to. But just please, this is my PSA to all of you. If you are still on compounded medication, please read those instructions. Like I said, even if it's still coming from the same pharmacy, especially now, guys, because some of these pharmacies are now compounding other things in it so that they don't get in trouble with Eli Lilly or the FDA. So they're mixing B12, they're mixing niacinamide, I think that's the one. And, some various other things that, benefit your body that don't compromise the medication. And so that dosage, those units are probably going to change. So please, like I said, do not do what I did. Thankfully, I caught myself before I injected it, and I was able to, just push that plunger back up and put it to 21 units. But wow, that could have been bad. So I think that's kind of it. I think that tells you how my week 31 went. From a scale perspective, it was fine, but from an eating and an exercise perspective, not good at all. I would say pretty much, maybe not 100% fail, but a definite not a pass. Is there anything between pass and fail? Maybe I'll give myself like a D plus, maybe. So anyway, yeah, you guys, I'm not perfect. I'm a human being. I'm going to make mistakes. There are days, and like I said, we're all going to have days like that, or all going to have weeks like that where things may not necessarily be in our control, or if they are in our control, we just may not make the best choices, and that's okay, right? You just pick yourself up and keep putting one foot in front of the other. But yeah, from an eating and workout routine perspective, not a great week, and almost a huge mistake when it came to administering the dose that I just took. So again, please read your bottles. read your injection instructions that come in the packaging. Whatever it is, please read that carefully every single time you are going into a new vial if you are taking compounded medication. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below, how are your journeys going? I would love to hear. And like I said, let me know if any of you like gingerly, tentatively step on the scale, and if you like think like in my brain that it's going to make some difference, which like I said, it clearly doesn't. But anyway, let me know that in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoy this kind of content, I would love to see you back here. So please click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I upload videos. I'm getting super close to 2,000 subscribers, guys, so I really appreciate it. If if you've watched some of my videos before and you haven't subscribed yet, just come join the fam. We have a great group of people here. If you have not had enough of me yet, there'll be another video over here in the corner for you to watch. And remember, kindness and hate spread the same. The choice is yours. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.